All right, everybody. I wanted to film kind of like a quick, get ready with me kind of talk thing just because I am busy and I need to get something out. So, in case you're wondering, I use the Olay Regenerist facial moisturizer. It's the micro sculpting cream. Basically, it's like for people older than 60 or whatever, but can't start too early. And then I also use the Olay Eyes. I use the eye lifting serum because I feel like my lids are starting to droop a little bit. This is going to come up later in this video anyway. Hold on, I gotta let the dog out. I'm 29 and I'll be 30 in January. So, which I'm really excited about, super excited about 30. My grandma always said it would be like kind of the best decade of your life. And I feel like that makes sense because my parents seemed to be the happiest when they were in their 30s. Like I feel like our family was really happy when they were in their 30s. But I wanted to talk quickly about infertility. So infertility by like medical standards is defined as someone who, or a couple who can't get pregnant naturally after 12 months. If you go 12 months and you haven't gotten pregnant, then you technically are experiencing some form of infertility. And I heard a statistic from another video that was like 70% of couples who go through infertility and for 2 years end up in divorce. And I've thought about this a lot. I've thought about John and I, we haven't been preventing pregnancy for probably 2.5 years now. It's not happening, which to me, for some reason in my mind, and I don't know why this is, but to me, I just kind of figured if God wants there to be a baby, there will be one. And if not, who the heck am I to interrupt that plan? Because when you look at life, God has a purpose and a plan for every life that comes onto the face of this planet. Every single one. This can be real sexy, y'all, so just kind of bear with me. But yeah, I mean, my mother-in-law went through infertility. My mom's best friends went through infertility. When I was, before I was even a thought. And, so it just and I've seen kind of the product of all of that and what comes from it and how it all just ends up working out, it's not, I don't know, it's not there's nothing you could have done as a person, as a couple wanting to get pregnant to have made this situation come out any better than it did. It just, yeah. So I guess that's part of it. It's just I just have this view that who am I to want someone in the world that the world's not ready for yet, I guess, is how I view it. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's strange. I don't know. And so I'm I follow a lot of couples who are going through infertility, who are doing IVF and stuff, because I think it's sweet and it interests me. But for those of you who don't know what IVF is, it's in vitro fertilization, where you actually it's like a test tube baby basically, and then you put the embryo inside the woman and hope that it sticks, and you can get different numbers of embryos and all this other stuff. But it's a long process, lots of drugs in some cases, depending on who, which person has the issue or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, I watch these people and I just look at them and I'm like, gosh, you are struggling so hard to have a baby. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't want to say that people who do IVF that they're wrong or anything, because I don't think that. If that's what you feel like you need to do, fabulous. You go for it. I just my grandma told me when I was younger, before I got married, that your spouse will be with you for the rest of your life. Your kids, they will grow up and they will leave you, and you're going to be left with your spouse. And that needs to be someone that you're you know, that's like the most important person in your life. That's really what it needs to be. And I guess that just kind of stuck with me because, like, John's enough. Like, if we never had kids, and I mean, this is kind of a big leap for me to say this because I don't know how I'm going to feel in, 5 or 10 years, but if I never got pregnant, John would be enough. Like, that's, God sent him to me for a purpose. That purpose was to be my husband. And our life is full. It was full before we had children. And even though, like, we have foster children now, and if we get to adopt, that's great. But, like, John will still be the person that comes first in my life. So yeah, I just, infertility can really tear you up as a couple if you don't, if you let it. And I just don't think we want to really go through that. Like, if God wants me to have a baby, we'll have one. I mean, or wants us to have a baby, I guess I should say. So yeah, and there's like all these stupid questions. I'll do a whole other video about people that say stupid things when you tell them that you're going to be a foster parent. And they like make all these stupid assumptions. It's just like, no, my kids aren't the backup plan. Thank you. Like, I guess here's the other reason I'm like not freaking out either. So my grandmother and my great grandmother got pregnant at 40. Had babies at 40. So this is going to work out somehow. Like, I don't know. I've already said this, but I'm gonna say it again. Like, if God wants us to have a baby, He's got a plan for it. Like, its whole life is planned out, just like our whole life is planned out. And I can't imagine that, like, going through all of that struggle. Not that not that I think that anybody else going through it is wrong, but I just I can't imagine. I don't know. I just can't imagine putting ourselves in that situation, trying to force something that, if God really wants to happen, it'll happen. Now, like, I think the farthest we would probably go would be like taking supplements, because there are companies that make like supplements to help like increase sperm count and like better hormone situation. Trust me, y'all, this woman, hormonal. I had my hormones checked when I was in the Air Force just to like make sure everything was working like it's supposed to. Everything's working fine. Like, nothing's wrong. So yeah. But I think that's the other reason why I'm not really big on like forcing the issue. I mean, in my mind, the reason we're not pregnant or we didn't get pregnant is because we were supposed to be foster parents. Like, this is how the whole foster thing happened for us. We thought about becoming foster parents like 2 years before we actually completed the classes. So we went to this, or maybe it was just a year. I don't know. It was a long time. We went to the orientation or whatever, and we learned like all the different agencies and stuff. And then we were kind of like, well, most people have kids and then they decide to foster. So it's like, maybe we should try that. I don't know. So we just decided we were just going to stop preventing pregnancy. And there was a lot of things, like, we are big Second Amendment people. We like carrying guns. And so that was one of those things that was kind of like an issue for us, where it was just like, I really don't want to have to give up my right to carry a weapon, to have children in my house who aren't going to be able to access the weapon, know how to use the weapon, like any of that stuff, because they're going to be too young. So we weren't ready for that. So then it was like, well, we'll see what happens. So like we waited and waited, and then it was like getting close for me to get out of the military. Well, my contract was coming up, so we were trying to decide. And like July hits, and we start taking the classes and stuff. And like the longer we're in the classes, the more like I just feel the Lord like tugging at me, like, hey, you need to get out. Like, you're not gonna be able to do both. Like, if you're gonna do this, I need you to do this, but I need you to separate so that you can. And and then, you know, I separate, and then 9 days later we got our child. And yeah, I don't think that like God had a plan for her life too, and God knew that like if John and I had children, because at that point we would have had like a 12-month-old or something, you know, like it wouldn't have been very old, and so it just like we wouldn't have taken who we have, and like they need us, they need us, there's nowhere else that they would have gone, like they would have just bounced around like they had, and then they probably would have ended up in a group home, like it's just, and y'all, like this was not what I wanted. I did not like, we were going through the classes and they were talking about Indian child welfare and like that kind of stuff. And I was like, nope, I'm not touching that, because it's almost like doing a foreign adoption. There's no chance that you're going to adopt these kids because you're not native and all this other stuff. And I told John, I was like, I don't want that. And then the first set we get, and that's what they are. Like, it's all planned out. It's all planned out. So why screw with it? Like, why mess with it? But those are just my thoughts. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions about infertility or foster care or whatever, just let me know. I'm sorry I'm kind of washed out, but like I'm in my bedroom and the lights behind me, like if you look, well, you can't see, but there's like 4 lights. Well, 2 of them are out because our TV's right here and I don't like having them glare on the TV. So I have like no lighting in here. I had to like open the blinds for a window, so I'm really washed out, but it's the best I could do. So yeah. Bye guys.